So this is a model I found on Thingiverse. It was in a rccrawler post, just a rear bumper for the 19 Wraith. So I've oriented it to be the flattest face down because I thought, you know, it might be the most stable, but we'll see. This is my first time 3D printing, by the way. So there we have it, first ever 3D print. Obviously there's a base there, so you're gonna have to rip that off. My understanding you don't need any tools, you kind of just rip it off by hand, but we'll have a look. So let's see how we're gonna take this off. See, I'll probably do this off camera, it's pretty tough. So we're not sure how you really get this off, but I have a knife here. And I've managed to wedge it in between the base and the 3D printed part itself. It's probably not how you do it, but it seems to be working okay, slowly but surely, so I'm going to go with it for the while being. I think I can actually remove this print from the base. It's really stuck on. I feel like it's probably just all melted together. Perhaps that's why the base was, the original print file was oriented like this rather than this. There might be a good reason for that, but I reoriented because I thought I knew what I was doing, but obviously not. This is my first time. This also was a failure for the first one because it didn't stick to the print bed properly. It was sort of shifting about. This print actually also has some imperfections. It feels like the print is shifted mid-print, so as you can see these lines here, there's like a divot here and sort of an extrusion here. Anyways, I think I'm just going to print this again, but standing it this way, so another hour and a half or so. But let's see. This stuff is actually surprisingly strong. I cannot, for the life of me, like crack it or even break it for that matter, so super impressive. I always thought 3D printed stuff was sort of like brittle, but it appears not. This is PLA, by the way. So with that failure out the way, I'm gonna go back to the original orientation where I think this is the bottom. Yeah, so it should do this. We'll see if this is better, and I'm gonna also try, since there's quite a bit of overhang here from the supports for the body, I'm gonna try putting support material. Don't really know what it does, but I've chosen breakaway support here. This is a MakerBot software. So again, this is a public printer, so it's sort of pretty messed up, but we'll try that again and see what happens. I'll just not bother filming time-lapse of this because obviously that was a failure. But anyways, so after actually hacking at it for about 10-15 minutes, I finally got it off. As you can see, definitely pretty melted to the base. Not sure how to turn this off actually. They're just on the printer by default, I guess. Again, I'm an absolute noob. This is my first time 3D printing, and this is kind of hilarious. I actually have another one printing on the printer right now on the different orientation of what I've showed. I don't think I'll cancel it because it's printing anyways. I might as well just leave it. And actually that could become interesting to test, like, does the direction of the grain, or like, what do you call it, the filament actually matter. But yeah, there's some blemishes here and there. I'm gonna clean up and see if it installs onto the truck. So yeah, this is it all cleaned up as best as I can for now. I don't have a file on me, so this is as good as it gets. There are quite a few imperfections. As you can see, the printer did like sort of shift, I guess, mid-print. Not sure if that's like an ongoing problem. Did I maybe like knock the printer or something? I have no idea, but it came up pretty good and it is very strong. And this bit looks a bit messed up, but it doesn't matter. This is going to essentially sit like this, so this will be facing the ground. And since this is a rear bumper, it's probably going to get scraped up anyway, so I'm not all too concerned. Other than that, looks pretty good. So yeah, this is it. The bumper is going to mount somewhere like this, and these holes here are designed to bolt onto the body to give it extra support. As you can see, the stock design, there's no bolts holding it on really at the back, so that's why it's going to break quite easily as like this. So anyways, this bumper is going to use the support from the sway bar mount to actually mount the bumper on. So I've got some extra screws and some extra hardware here. So here's both of those sway bar mounts removed, and we're just going to put the bumper on and have a look. That's pretty good, it aligns very nicely. So yeah, here it is all mounted up. It looks actually really nice and slick, as you can see. Not a lot of overhang. Again, I'm going to have to find some new bolts to actually bolt the body to the bumper, mainly because those holes were designed for M2.5 screws, I believe, and all I have is M3 at the moment. Looking at it from the bottom, looks really nice. This is relatively smooth, I guess, and I don't think it's going to be any problem with catching on rocks or anything. And again, this mount is actually really solid, and knowing how actually flexible and tough just regular PLA is, I don't really have any concerns of this breaking unless I'm going for some sort of stupid direct impact. It turned out really cool, that's really nice, and I think there's going to be more 3D printing definitely happening, because this is just super cool and you know, kind of like free of charge if you have access to a 3D printer, obviously. So they're pretty common nowadays. Maybe your school or your local library might have one. And filament, relatively inexpensive. I just got one off a roll off Amazon. It was a kilo, so 2.2 pounds of worth of filament for around $20–25 or so. So again, very cool. I'm probably going to start with an interior bed or something next time, but yeah. So here it is. This is the vertical print. So the bed is right here and it's printed like this rather than like this for the previous one. I've also added breakaway supports, and the print time was around 20 minutes longer. Instead of half an hour, it's more like an hour and 45, an hour and 50. So yeah, this is just a default support material that the MakerBot software puts in. There are a few defects along this seam, but all in all, it seems pretty good. Let's see if it breaks away easily. Okay, this is a lot better than the previous one already, but still pretty tough. So here is where I'm at right now. This print actually came out looking a little worse, especially in the edges. I'm not sure. I think this is not the support material anymore since I've snapped off the things that's been easy to snap off, and the infill is not quite sort of as solid as I'd like. It's actually pretty porous, and also it seems like there's something up with the level of the bed as well, because it's sort of tilted in one way, and this is supposed to be flat and now it's stepped, so not sure. The support material seems to have minimal impact to this finish of the print, so I might go with that, but I'll probably try and avoid it if I can, mainly because it's just more work, and also it's a waste of material and time, honestly. But anyways, this is how this came out, but I think this is going to just sit on the shelf as a spare part. The first one that I printed is a lot better actually, so I'm going to keep that one. So yeah, that's basically my experience first time 3D printing. Also, if anyone have any recommendations or have a lot of experience 3D printing, feel free to drop some advice in the comments of what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, because I honestly have no idea what I'm doing, to be honest. So yeah, thanks for watching.